This is the Google Pixel 10a Disassembly. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and click on the notification bell so you'll be notified once I upload a new video. I also did a drop test on this phone, so if you want to see that, I'll place a link in the description. First, the SIM tray needs to be removed. Taking a look at the SIM tray, we can see a black rubber gasket around the opening. Now if you need to replace the screen, you don't have to remove the back plate. You can just heat up the front of the phone where the screen is to loosen up the adhesive underneath and pry the whole screen off, and then remove the metal plate which is holding the flex cable down, and disconnect the flex cable for the screen from the main board, at which point you can apply new adhesive and reapply the new screen. Now heat needs to be applied to the back plate using either a hairdryer or a heat gun to loosen up the adhesive underneath, and then a pry tool can be used to pry the back plate off. I prefer to use a hairdryer since there's less of a chance of damaging any of the components inside by overheating them. Here's a look at the plastic backplate. There are now 15 T4 or Torx 4 screws which need to be removed. Having a look at the motherboard cover, we see the wireless charging coil located here, as well as the NFC antenna. As for the LED flash, that's located here. Here's a look at the other side. We can also see an area of graphite film to help transfer heat. There's a T4 or Torx 4 screw, which is holding down the metal cover over the battery connector. The battery cable can now be disconnected. There are two additional T4 or Torx 4 screws, which are holding down the motherboard. Having a look at the motherboard, we see the 48 megapixel primary camera and the 13 megapixel ultrawide located next to that. The main camera has OIS or optical image stabilization. There's a secondary microphone on the top corner and the primary microphone is located on the bottom corner. The USB-C charging port is located here, which is soldered to the main board, which will make replacing it more difficult since it will require soldering knowledge to be able to desolder and solder a new port on. There's some copper tape or film over the shields to help transfer heat, and the front-facing camera connector is located here, which can be disconnected by popping it off. Taking a look at the other side, we see the 13 megapixel front-facing camera, the proximity and ambient light sensor, the connectors for the rear cameras, the SIM reader, and additional copper film or tape on the shields to help transfer heat. Once the copper film has been peeled back, we see some thermal compound on top of the RAM, which is seated over the processor. Here's a better look with the thermal compound removed. When it comes to replacing the battery, there is a pull pouch provided to help you pry it off. This is the 5100 mAh battery. Once the battery adhesive pouch has been peeled back, we have a better look at the vapor chamber which runs underneath the battery, as well as this portion of the motherboard. As for the fingerprint scanner, it's located over here behind the screen. This is the bottom speaker assembly, and there's a mesh filter and rubber gasket over the speaker opening. The vibrator motor is located on the bottom corner, which is held down with some adhesive. To replace that, just apply some heat and pry it off. And again, the flex cable for the screen is located here. So to replace the screen, you would just have to heat up the front of the phone where the screen is to loosen up the adhesive underneath and pry the old screen off. And then you'd remove the metal cover over the screen cable on the other side, giving you access to disconnecting the flex cable for the screen from the main board. You then apply new adhesive and reapply the new screen. Moving on, the flex cable for the volume keys and power button is located here, and there's a metal plate with 3 T4 or Torx force screws which are holding it in place. There are also 2 thermal pads on the frame to help transfer heat away from the motherboard and components. And finally, the top earpiece speaker is located here. In order to replace that, gently peel off the flex cable from the frame and lift up and remove the speaker assembly. Now for the repairability score on this phone, I give it an 8.5 out of 10. The overall design is really good and allows for the phone to easily be disassembled to replace most of the components. The only negative things are the soldered charger port and the SIM reader, which would both require desoldering to replace. The rest of the parts like the battery, cameras, or the speakers are easily replaceable. Now it's time to put the phone back together. Once everything's back in place, apply new adhesive and reapply the back cover. Flip over the phone, power it on, and you're done. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.